At 79, Henry Winkler finally opens up about his friendship with country legend and actor Jerry Reed, a bond that left a deep mark on his heart. Henry Winkler, born Henry Franklin Winkler on October 30th, 1945, in New York City, has long been one of America's most beloved entertainers. Known for his warmth, humor, and relentless perseverance, his story is one of triumph over adversity. From a struggling student with dyslexia to an Emmy-winning performer and author, Winkler's journey reflects the power of resilience and the magic of kindness. Growing up in Manhattan, Winkler faced enormous challenges. Dyslexia, undiagnosed at the time, made school a daily struggle. Teachers labeled him lazy, and even his parents misunderstood his difficulties. Yet, instead of giving up, Henry found refuge in storytelling and performance. He channeled his frustrations into creativity, eventually earning a bachelor's degree from Emerson College and a master's in fine arts from Yale's prestigious School of Drama. Those years shaped him, giving him the courage to chase his dream of acting, a dream that would one day make him a cultural icon. That dream became reality in 1974, when Winkler was cast as Arthur Fonzarelli on Happy Days. What started as a small supporting role quickly became the soul of the show. With his leather jacket, signature thumbs up, and cool charm, the Fonz became a pop culture legend. But behind the swagger, Winkler gave the character heart, a mix of loyalty, decency, and quiet confidence that audiences adored. By the mid-1970s, Henry Winkler was one of television's biggest stars. Yet fame never changed him. He stayed humble, grateful, and always aware of how lucky he was to live his dream. When Happy Days ended in 1984, Winkler faced a crossroads. Hollywood is not kind to actors forever tied to one iconic role. But Henry refused to fade away. Instead, he reinvented himself, directing films like Memories of Me and Cop and a Half, and producing hit TV shows such as MacGyver. Over the years, he returned to acting with renewed energy, earning new fans in movies like The Waterboy and shows like Arrested Development and Barry. His role as acting coach Gene Cousineau on Barry even won him an Emmy in 2018, decades after his rise as the Fonz. It was proof that real talent never ages. Screen. Winkler's heart shone through his writing and advocacy. Drawing from his own experience with dyslexia, he co-created the Hank Zipser book series, stories that helped children see that learning challenges do not define them. His books became bestsellers worldwide, spreading a message of hope, humor, and acceptance. To millions of readers, Winkler wasn't just an actor. He was a voice of encouragement. Through it all, his greatest strength has been love, especially his love story with his wife, Stacy Weitzman. The two met in 1976 in a Beverly Hills clothing store. Henry, already famous as Fonzie, walked in looking for a sport coat. Stacy was helping a friend who owned the boutique. Their eyes met, and something clicked. She wasn't dazzled by his fame, and he was drawn to her confidence and grace. They married in 1978 in the same synagogue where Henry had his bar mitzvah, a beautiful symbol of family and faith. Together, they built a life grounded in laughter, loyalty, and resilience, raising 3 children and weathering life's storms, including Stacy's battle with breast cancer, side by side. To this day, Henry calls her his rock. But one of Winkler's fondest friendships came later in life, on the set of The Waterboy in 1998, with none other than country legend Jerry Reed. Reed, a larger-than-life musician and actor, played the scheming Coach Red Beaulieu opposite Winkler's mild-mannered Coach Klein. On screen, they were rivals. Off-screen, they became fast friends. Jerry wasn't just an incredible performer, Winkler recalled. He was one of those rare people who could walk into a room and make everyone feel like they'd known him forever. Reed, a lifelong outdoorsman, decided to teach Henry how to fish. I had never fished a day in my life, Winkler laughed. But Jerry told me, "Son, you can't come down to Louisiana and not learn to fish. That's a crime against nature." Their early morning fishing trips became the highlight of the shoot. He'd pick me up before dawn in this beat-up pickup truck, always humming a tune. He'd tell stories about Elvis, Chet Atkins, and Burt Reynolds, and I'd just sit there, completely mesmerized. I wasn't just fishing, I was listening to living history. Winkler described Reed as a natural storyteller, funny, soulful, and endlessly kind. He could make you laugh until you cried, then turn around and say something that made you think about life in a whole new way. On set, Reed brought warmth and laughter to everyone. He reminded us not to take things too seriously, Winkler said. But when the cameras rolled, he was a pro. He hit every note perfectly, like the musician he was. Their friendship continued long after filming wrapped. Reed would often call or send notes just to check in. He'd say, "How's my fishing buddy doing?" Winkler smiled. He was that kind of man, thoughtful, funny, and genuine. You couldn't help but love him. When Jerry Reed passed away in 2008, Winkler was heartbroken. "I remember sitting quietly for a long time after hearing the news," he said softly. "It felt like the world lost a little bit of its light that day." Even now, Winkler says Reed's memory stays with him. "Every time I'm near a lake or a river, I think of Jerry, his laugh, his voice, and the patience he showed teaching me how to cast that line." He chuckled. "He used to tease me, saying, 'You Hollywood types don't know how to catch a thing.' And he was right. I didn't catch much, except a friendship I'll always treasure." Looking back, Winkler says, The Waterboy remains one of his most cherished projects, not just because it was a hit, but because it gave him Jerry. "When I watch that movie now, I don't just see the characters," he said. "I see Jerry's spirit shining through every scene. He had that spark you can't fake." With emotion in his voice, Winkler summed it up perfectly. Jerry Reed didn't just play roles or sing songs. He told stories that touched people. He lived with laughter, music, and heart. I'm lucky to have known him, and I'm lucky to have learned from him, not just about fishing, but about living. And then, in true Jerry Reed fashion, Henry smiled and quoted his friend's favorite saying, "If you can laugh every day, then you've done all right." That, Winkler said softly, was Jerry, a man who laughed, loved, and lived more fully than anyone I've ever met.